Welcome back, Knuckleheads. I'm Lupine Fiasco, and this is your daily FaB gameplay. For anyone who's new to the channel, welcome. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I'll talk through turn cycles and give my thoughts on the line I would take now, compared to the line I took then at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like the ongoing ProQuest Season 5 and, most importantly, walk away with that shiny, shiny cardboard. If you would like to check out the list I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, there is a FaB deck link available in the video description below. While they're down there, if you have not already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. The best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you access to the DFG Discord and shiny cardboard Talishar card back. At higher tiers, your name will appear in every DFG video. You'll get bonus DFG content every week. There are even more benefits coming down the pipeline. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Now, let's talk about our sideboard and about our game plan. Coming off the back of yesterday's Arachne game, we have the scarier assassin, Uzuri. Uzuri is scarier because everything she's doing is hidden, or at least her most impactful turns are all face down based on her hero ability. If Uzuri throws an Isolate, we have no idea what could be behind it. It could be something as bad as Shakedown. It could be something as manageable as Command and Conquer when we don't have an arsenal. It can be very hard to read what she's planning to do. But the good news for us is our deck actually blocks very well. So Uzuri's Disruption is a lot less impactful than it is against other heroes. Now, to start, having won the die roll, we are going to choose to go second. This is kind of the standard line against Assassin. The idea being that we can block whatever they do on turn 1, then crack back on turn 2, and really get that first push at either life total or hand size. Because Uzuri has her ability to flip in attack actions from hand, if she opens with the Dominate, we usually want to block that. We want to block the Dagger. We just want to convert cards in hand into block value on the first turn whenever we can. Our equipment loadout is very standard. Assassin does not deal arcane damage, so we don't need to prepare for that. We are playing it a little slower in this game. We're not going to bring in our yellow wild rides, the idea being that they don't block. We are bringing in Clash of Agility because we do still want that go again. We also want to put 3 block value in front of whatever Uzuri is doing to try and play a little mid-range. Additionally, Uzuri has a ton of misses in her deck. A lot of her cards, her attacks have really low power. All of her stealth attacks have low power. So unless we are revealing a Cast Bones or a Blood Rush, we're very likely to win the clash. Humble is out as well, just based on Uzuri's hero power not being that important to her game plan. She'll use it when she has it, but she isn't counting on it. And if she does get humbled on our turn, she'll just pitch to play the Shakedown instead of Uzuri affecting it in. Notable things to be concerned about: Shakedown, Command and Conquer, Surgical Extraction being the real 3 threats that she could Uzuri affect into the Chain Link. Those are her most disruptive threats. She has Death Touch as well, but Death Touch usually just represents damage, as opposed to actually impacting what we are going to do on our turn. Leave No Witnesses is an extremely strong 1-card play, as is Codex of Frailty. Codex of Frailtying into a Leave No Witnesses or Command and Conquer from discard is very strong as well, as that is going to directly affect the card that Codex just forced us to put into our arsenal. So holding on to your armor to one card or even no card block out the Leave No Witnesses or CNC to protect whatever you just Codexed back is very strong. Massacre, it's just a little slow in this matchup, so we're leaving that on the board as well. We need to be aware of Black Tech Whisperers as a strong play. If Uzuri can give an assassin attack go again, then follow up with a Leave No Witnesses or Codex of Frailty if we just took the damage because we didn't want to block. So we really want to evaluate our hands and decide, is this the turn that we're really trying to go for it, or are we fine blocking this shakedown for 6? Because we know that Black Tech plus follow-up is an option. Additionally, Black Tech, even for no additional benefit, is an attack reaction to turn on the disruptive effect of Shakedown. We're expecting Uzuri to be redline here. She's just going to be playing the aggro game, looking to disrupt us while she finds strong turn cycles like E-Strike Go Again, 2 for 6, Ravenous Rabble, 2 for 6. She has some strong offensive lines in her deck. We need to be aware of going too low on life total and being dead to a well-timed Flick Knives. Flick Knives flicking a Spider's Bite as the attack reaction to something like a Ravenous Rabble or an E-Strike that sets us up to get hit by her second disruptive attack. Very good as well. So there's a lot to be aware of in this matchup. The easiest way to show you how we should be approaching this is just to submit deck and jump right into it. We have a decent enough hand for blocking on turn 1, as well as discarding our Agile Windup to make agility. We do get a little punished for it, Uzuri deciding to send 10 damage our way and try to take advantage of having non-blocks in hand, which we do have 1. So we are going to take 4 damage, but setting up an agility is really worth the cost. We're fine taking 4 non-disruptive damage on turn 0. For our turn, we are really looking for resources. What I would like to do is play this Command and Conquer to threaten Uzuri's arsenal, but I don't have the resources to pay for it and do something else. So what I'm going to do is E-Strike, bottoming Bear Fangs, and I'm going to draw a card. So the agility is giving E-Strike Go Again. I'm hoping to find a blue or a yellow so that I can play Command and Conquer and arsenal this Wild Ride. Arsenaling the Wild Ride just to set up for a 3-link chain, 3-link turn, hopefully down the road. Uzuri does give us the Sink Below from hand, luckily also giving us the Black Tech Whisperers, and we are just going to follow up with this Command and Conquer. Bit of an awkward block for Uzuri. It would have been nice for her to still have those Black Techs. As far as our turn, I would like to continue to threaten this arsenal. Uzuri clearly cares about it very much. I would like to play a Wild Ride. It should be the Wild Ride from Arsenal, so that I have a better chance at keeping this Command and Conquer. As it is, I only have a 66% chance of keeping CNC if I play Wild Ride from hand. Sorry, a 50% chance of keeping CNC if I play Wild Ride from hand, where I have a 66% chance of keeping it if I play Wild Ride from Arsenal. And we do in fact discard the Command and Conquer. We're still going to have a strong turn. We get to follow Wild Ride with Claw, Clash of Agility. Clash, obviously having no disruptive effect, but is still 6 damage. So a very solid turn cycle, pushing 15 damage and getting a Might token. And we do at least keep our Wild Ride in Arsenal. So still a strong turn cycle from us. Uzuri, though, keeping 5 cards is pretty scary. Starting off with Ravenous Rabble. Makes me think that we should probably not block this. I I would like to block with Clash of Agility at some point because I want the agility token. Ideally, my turn would be I'd block with Clash and send packing on Uzuri's turn, and on my turn, I Bare Fangs for 9 with Go Again, then use Tunic to work a Claw in as well. But I am not going to block this Ravenous Rabble. I am more afraid of what is coming after. Here I'm checking Uzuri's discard just to see if she has anything worth codexing, and the answer is no. We may be expecting just daggers for the rest of this turn. Scale Peeler is not something we need to block. It is going to make getting value out of this hand harder because we don't have a good way to now block the Spider's Bite. So we're not going to just be able to 2-card block a Shakedown or Command and Conquer. But I still think very unlikely that we're ever blocking an Uzuri Dagger. If we really wanted to get the most value we could have out of this turn, we would have blocked the Ravenous Rabble with Clash of Agility. So here we're in a weird spot where we are thinking about Uzuri's black tech play. So again, just double checking the discard. Uzuri doesn't have anything worth codexing, and she doesn't have any floating resources to, for example, hit with this Death Touch, break the chain, play codex, get the Death Touch back. So if Uzuri does black tech here, we're probably looking at a Leave No Witnesses. And while I would like to get my agility token by blocking with Clash, I can also just play the Wild Ride from Arsenal and get my Go Again that way, then Mandible Claw, and play a finisher. So blocking Death Touch here is not the line I'm looking for. We'll take our 6 from the Death Touch, take whatever token Uzuri is going to give us. It is an Inertia, and then we can 2-card block the Leave No Witnesses with Send Packing and Clash. On our turn, we can play our Bare Fangs, pitch our blue, then follow up with Wild Ride from Arsenal, and make sure that we aren't hit by the Inertia. Instead, we do lose our Clash, unfortunately. Revealing the Bloodrush Bellow is going to give Uzuri that agility. That's really bad for us. So our only line that we can take is playing this Wild Ride and hoping that we don't draw discard our Bloodrush Bellow. So it's kind of the worst case scenario here. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. At the same time, we get 2 Sink Belows out of Uzuri. It fully blocks out this Wild Ride, but we only have to be afraid of an Uzuri 2-card hand, which is pretty non-threatening. We draw into kind of a weird one. Honestly, the deck distribution here is not going in our favor. 2 Bloodrush Bellows stacked on top of each other, and being the draw discard for a Wild Ride is pretty bad. That said, this Ravenous Rabble is only coming in for 2. We can easily block this with one of our blues, which gets it out of our hand. We are going to play this Bloodrush Bellow. It is not at its best in this situation, but our alternative line for this turn is like attack with a Beast Within, Arsenal Bloodrush, and that doesn't feel good either. So we're going to block this Rabble with one of our blues. We're going to hope that Uzuri's follow-up is not very good, but even if she does play a Codex here, we could just discard our Beast Within and draw a new card. Checking Uzuri's discard here, we do see 3 Sink Belows, which is really nice. I believe I'm trying to decide if I do want to play the Blood Rush here, and I think the answer is yes. Again, not at its best, but it's kind of all we can do. Sort of an interesting draw here. Definitely not ideal, but we can Mandible Claw swing big. So we're only getting 15 damage out of this Blood Rush, but 15 is still pretty solid, and we get to Arsenal and E-Strike to hopefully convert our next hand into big damage. Uzuri breaking the balance of justice is totally fine. We'll see if she wants to give us any cards from hand. She gives us an inertia trap. So this does change what we're doing this turn, or at least makes us think about whether we want to change what we're doing. We have two options for how we want to play out the rest of this turn. We could still swing big for 10 and lose our E-Strike. We could E-Strike bottom swing big for 7 and discard our Agile windup. But what I want to do instead is a combination of those two lines. Looking at the Spring Tunic wasn't something I was doing before because I didn't need the resource. But now what I can do is use Tunic and pitch E-Strike to play swing big for 10, then discard Agile windup to make an agility, which is not getting ideal value out of this hand, but it is getting the most value we can while also playing around inertia. Uzuri gives us the entire hand, which will give her a quicken, but also lets us get really good value, potentially, out of our agility. So thinking about how we want to play out this hand, we have a few options. We could lead with a Bare Fangs and pitch our Pack Call. What we're hoping to keep is one of these 2-for-6s and another blue so that we can Mandible Claw 2-for-6. We could also lead with Runner for 7 go again, refresh our agility, attack with Mandible Claw by pitching Pack Hunt and then arsenaling the Bare Fangs. We are at a life deficit, and I'm not sure what the ideal line here is. I think it's probably playing out the Bare Fangs. Bare Fangs for 9 go again, rock solid. We then get to decide if we want to play out one of our 2-for-6s if we end up keeping 2 reds, or we just push 9 more damage this turn. I got the Runner instead, totally justifiable. We need to decide whether we want to arsenal one of these reds or just pitch to claw. Seeing another inertia trap out of Uzuri makes this a really easy decision. We are just going to play out the Bare Fangs. We have the blue on top of our deck, so potentially losing out on quite a bit of damage there. At the same time, we strip Uzuri's hand again. So this agility really doing a lot of work because we don't need to block, so we can just keep these 4-card hands. How we are going to play out this turn is kind of interesting. We have some options. We could play out our Blood Rush and pitch our Cast Bones, taking advantage of the fact that we have agility. We could attack with really just Agile windup and then play Cast Bones, and I think that is what I want to do. Get 7 damage this turn and then follow up with a Cast Bones, hopefully getting enough hits to generate agility, so that we get to 5-card Blood Rush with Tunic and Agility, but even if it only hits 4 or 5 mites, we are going to have a really strong Blood Rush turn. We see that we have a blue and a runner on top of our deck, so we know that we will have a resource, a blue to pay for this Blood Rush turn, so that's really good. Probably just going to use Fleshbag here. Not that I think that I can really slow down whatever Uzuri is trying to do. It's more that I don't want to block from hand because I want to have a really strong Blood Rush turn. And even with Uzuri having 4 cards left, potentially this Fleshbag does ruin her turn. This is purely a tempo play. I want to make sure that whatever Uzuri is doing is not impactful enough to take me off of this really good Blood Rush turn. So we are just seeing what this prompts Uzuri to do. Spider's Bite, likely followed by some sort of disruptive effect, means that I'm still not blocking this. Uzuri even flicking the Spider's Bite at us, which means that we do have we're not going to be able to stop whatever is coming next. So we aren't even going to try. We're just going to hope for the best. If this is a command and conquer, yeah, we lose our blood rush and that sucks, but we still have a very strong turn lined up. Knowing that we have a blue on top of our deck means that we can Tunic, pitch Pack Hunt. We could play out our pulping. We could also just play out the Pack Hunt for 12, Intimidate, go again, then probably play Swing Big, so use our Tunic and pitch pulping, and that is just a 4-card 20. We could go for a line of use our Tunic, pitch Pack Hunt, play pulping, draw a discard, hope that we draw the blue and discard our Beast Within. But our life totals are kind of at parity, and we're just going to push 20 damage, so I kind of like taking the safer play, where if we do play this pulping and we pitch our Pack Hunt, we draw blue, we discard a Swing Big, then our turn was kind of clunky. Pulping will have go again, even if it gets blocked by a card from hand and a defense reaction from Arsenal. It's possible that we are just supposed to pulping and push 10 damage onto Uzuri. I think Pack Hunt is fine. I think, yeah, if I am taking this turn now, I am in a Tunic, pitch Pack Hunt, and play pulping. But just leading with Pack Hunt for 12 Intimidate, and then follow up with a Swing Big is really strong too. That is our highest damage line if we aren't getting the Beast Within trigger. And of course, we are still pushing a lot of damage onto Uzuri, right? There's certainly nothing wrong with this line. We are not threatening lethal, but we are putting Uzuri very close to dead, and we're still at 12. If we get Flick Knives here, that's incredible for us. We do not have to worry about going to 1. We can just do that. Here we're looking at Nimble Strike for 5 with go again, and we are thinking about what a Codex follow-up looks like. Let's see if I am going to check my discard here. We're just thinking about if we take 5 damage from the Nimble Strike, we go to 7. Uzuri has no floating resources, so very likely she's going to Codex into a Leave No Witnesses. We could just cover that with 2 pieces of armor. So we are really thinking about, if she plays the Codex, what do we discard, and then what do we get back? Swing Big, looking like a pretty good option as far as what to get back. What I kind of like doing here is blocking the Nimble Strike for 5 with Bonebreaker and Runner. Uzuri then plays Codex. We get back a Swing Big. We discard Cast Bones. We can then block the Leave No Witnesses with Wind Up and Scab Skins, and then we Swing Big for 8. Seems like a pretty solid line, and that means that I am thinking about blocking this Nimble Strike, staying at a healthy 12. Just checking on what Uzuri has. Yeah, she does have Leave No Witnesses in discard. And consider, she has a Death Touch too, she has Shakedown, she has Command and Conquer, but she has no floating resources, so Leave No Witnesses, really the only play she can make. If this is in fact Codex. We take kind of a middle of the road line where we are going to get armor value early, and we are going to keep cards in hand. So what this lets us do is still get back this Swing Big. We can block the Leave No Witnesses with Runner and Bonebreaker, generate the Might to cancel out the Frailty. Then we player swing big for 8, and arsenal cast bones. Alternatively, what we can do is discard the cast bones. We still make the same block on leave no witnesses. Then we swing big for 8 and discard an agile windup to make my agility. I like this line that I made. I think that's probably best. Cast bones in arsenal means that we are either looking to aggressively block out Uzuri, or we are trying to find pulping or wild ride, something that has go again that we can then follow with cast bones. Here with Uzuri at 3 and with us having pulping with guaranteed go again and pretty strong follow-ups, we are just thinking about what a shakedown looks like. Command and Conquer here is obviously just 6 damage. Death Touch is probably 8 damage, and we can see that I was mistaken on this last turn. Uzuri has not played a shakedown. So very likely the only card Uzuri could have is Shakedown. We can't block the Isolate. It has Dominate, so we can't put 6 in front of it. We only have 2 points worth of block value. If Uzuri calls yellow, we still have a blue. If Uzuri calls blue, we still have a yellow to play and win with this pulping. If Uzuri calls red, we still have the go again, so we get to Command and Conquer for 7, then Mandible Claw. A shakedown here keeps Uzuri alive because she likely calls red, likely takes her pulping, but we are still threatening lethal. We are still getting at least 3 cards from Uzuri's hand to just survive, and we have time to find more gas. Uzuri takes 1, goes down to 2. Mandible Claw is going to get another card out of her hand. And we draw pretty well. Thinking about how we want to use these 4 cards and how we want to use our Spring Tunic. We could make a Mandible Claw line. We pitch our blue, we attack with Mandible Claw, we discard Agile Windup, we use Tunic, we attack with Swing Big, and Arsenal Clash of Agility. We're pushing 11 points of damage, likely stripping Uzuri's entire hand and then killing her with 5 cards and Agility. The other easier line we can take is discard Windup at the end of Uzuri's turn. We Clash of Agility for 6 go again, then use Tunic to swing big. We've seen 3 sync blows from Uzuri. We have not seen a Fate Foreseen yet, which makes me think she isn't playing them. If Uzuri cannot block with a 1-card 4, we assume that the most she can block with is 12, and if we are pushing 14, we do just win the game. So I will block this with Scabskin Leathers, just get my 1 point of armor value, and go for the 14 damage line as opposed to the 11 damage line that still strips Uzuri's hand and puts us in a winning position, but let's just win a turn sooner. Leading with Swing Big is fine. I'm very confident that we win this game either way. Yeah, we give Uzuri a quicken, but it seems unlikely that she could have blocked differently or would have blocked different or better based on us leading with Clash of Agility. So good game from us. We see that we did get outvalued. Pretty interestingly, I wouldn't expect that from an Uzuri. Uzuri was getting great value out of her inertia traps, but we could just mid-range our way through this game and wait for our opportunities to deal a lot of damage. A lot of the assassin, the power of assassin falls off when you know the tricks, when you know what you're looking for, and you can anticipate what a shakedown does to your turn or what a codex does to your turn, but mostly just being able to convert to a mid-range plan when the turn calls for it, or convert to an aggressive plan when the turn calls for it, is really strong, and it is something that Kayo brings to the table. So So I hope you enjoyed this game, and I hope you learned something. If so, be sure to take that like button to Pound Town. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. Again, if you haven't already done so, please consider a YouTube subscription. It's free, it helps me out, but no matter what you do, catch me back here tomorrow for more daily FaB gameplay. And until then, take care.